were so emotional because the trade was so fresh. How did this compare to that, those experiences last year against them?
I would say it's a little bit easier now. But like I say, games against Dallas, they always have some special meaning to me. I think, I have still a lot of friends there. So it's at the same point, it's some fun, but it's always special. So like I say, it'll always be special for me.
Before LeBron got there, where were the Lakers and how did they look? Phenomenal. Luka didn't ask to be here and the fans didn't ask for Luka. I don't think the fans asked for LeBron James either, but they're both here. Two of the greatest players to play the
It was the NBA's Christmas showcase, but for LeBron James and the Lakers, it became a day of historic humiliation. Luka Dončić, the league's new crown prince, didn't just beat the Lakers, he systematically mocked and dismantled their era-defining superstar on national television. But the real shock came after the final buzzer. In a stunning off-script moment captured by microphones, Lakers majority owner Jeanie Buss was heard launching a furious, expletive-laden tirade directed not at her own team, but at LeBron James himself, blaming him for the franchise's rotten core. This wasn't just a loss. This was a public execution of a king by his own queen, moments after he was dethroned on the court. This is the story of the Christmas day that destroyed the LeBron James era in Los Angeles. The game was a masterpiece of public humiliation. From the opening tip, Luka Dončić operated with a chilling, calculated disrespect. He wasn't just playing to win, he was playing to erase LeBron James from relevance on his own holiday stage. The tactics were psychological warfare. Every time Luka scored on LeBron, a step-back three in his face, a driving layup where he used his body to shield the ball, he would hold his follow-through or stare just a beat too long, a silent, arrogant punctuation mark. He began deliberately hunting mismatches to get LeBron switched onto him, then would wave off screens, demanding the isolation. The message was clear: I want you. I want to break you. The most brutal moment came in the third quarter, after draining the broadcast's courtside camera. It wasn't a celebration for the crowd. It was a direct, personal message to the man he was replacing. Luka was conducting a live, nationally televised coronation by assassination, and the entire basketball world was watching the king bleed out in real time.
It's an approach that you have to have. What makes you feel in year 23 that you have the approach that's needed to get back to that level? That's the only reason you're playing for, and that's to be a champion.
I think you just said it. One, the best teacher of life experience. So I've experienced a lot in my career, but I experienced those battles, wins, losses. So I'm battle tested, and then to have the complementary players that we have, to have the team that we're playing with right now, I feel like we got a good chance. So
Luka Dončić is awesome because he wanted to do something nice for the real Lakers fans on Christmas who were not super rich or given tickets to the game for being famous. So he picked the very last row of the stadium. There was an announcement that this row was going to miss the halftime show, but this was because Luka.
The final buzzer sounded on a Mavericks blowout, but the true scandal was just beginning. As players shook hands and began to leave the court, a courtside microphone, likely meant to pick up ambient crowd noise, instead captured a conversation that was never meant for public consumption. The audio, slightly muffled but unmistakable, picked up the voice of Lakers owner Jeanie Buss. She was not speaking to the media, but to a small group of team executives and confidants in the tunnel leading to the owner's suite. Her tone was not one of disappointment, but of, "In my house? On Christmas?" There was a brief pause, the sound of shuffling, then the clearest, most damning line. "He's a statue of himself, all shine, no foundation, and he's sinking my franchise into the ground with him." The audio clip, lasting less than 20 seconds, was a nuclear bomb. It confirmed the worst-kept secret in the NBA, that the relationship between the franchise and its superstar was not just strained, but openly, viciously hostile at the highest level. The owner wasn't blaming the coach, the role players, or bad luck. She was blaming the face of her franchise, the man she had handed the keys to the kingdom, for its very decay. In one unguarded moment, she had publicly declared LeBron James a liability, not a legend.
Necessary. We don't care enough to be a professional. It's, you know, we had it. We had it. This is. I always say this about, you know, culture. I always say this about the team being a good team being a functioning organism. It can change like that. We don't have it right now.
JJ, and as you talk about today's modern basketball, how can this team become better on defense and at rebounding the basketball?
I don't know. Like I said, you know, we need to talk about it. Probably going to be uncomfortable. But
in the hyper-controlled environment of an NBA arena, a hot mic moment of this magnitude is not an accident. It's a catastrophically. This feed is heavily monitored and filtered by the broadcast truck's audio engineers before any sound goes to air. However, in the immediate chaos of the post-game blowout, with crews scrambling to wrap the national broadcast, the raw feed was allegedly left open or hot for a brief window. This is where the story turns from error to execution. According to industry sources, the raw, unfiltered audio from all ambient mics is also recorded locally onto a multi-track backup server for post-production review. Access to this server is highly restricted. The theory gaining traction among media analysts is that an individual with legitimate technical access, a disgruntled broadcast technician, or even a rogue employee within the Lakers' own commentary appeared not on a gossip site, but on a niche, credible sports media forum known for insider leaks. It was uploaded anonymously with precise timestamp metadata matching the end of the game. This was not a blurry phone recording. It was a surgical digital leak from inside the production fortress itself. Whether motivated by personal grievance, a desire for chaos, or a hidden agenda, the leaker didn't just capture a moment, they weaponized it, proving that in the modern arena, there are no truly private conversations, only conversations that haven't been leaked yet.
Execute the things that it was tasked with.
Because we don't care enough right now. And that's the part that bothers you a lot. We don't care enough to do the things that are necessary. We don't care enough to be a professional. It's, you know, we had it. We had it. This is. I always say this about, you know, culture. I always say this about the team being a.
Take your breath, darling. You're staring at my stocking like you've got something you're dying to put inside it.
I brought a gift.
I hope it's a big one. I've got plenty of room to stretch, and I don't like leaving any empty space at the bottom.
I'll see what I can do.
Catastrophic. The Los Angeles Lakers were no longer just a losing basketball team, they were a global spectacle of institutional collapse. Within the organization, a state of paralyzed panic set in. There was no immediate public statement from the team. The communications department, betrayal, and the ultimate proof of a dysfunctional front office that blames its superstar for its own failures. The other faction, those who have long harbored resentment over LeBron's influence, saw Buss's words as a long overdue truth finally spoken aloud. For LeBron James, the calculus of his future changed. Negotiate a future with an owner who, in a moment of raw honesty, called him a rotten core and a sinking statue. The business relationship was now irreparably poisoned. Every future interaction with the front office would be shadowed by the knowledge of her true contemptuous feelings. The broader NBA world reacted with a mix of horror and opportunism. Rival executives began discreetly probing what available might now mean in relation to LeBron James. Media narratives instantly shifted from "Can the Lakers turn it around?" to "When and how does LeBron leave? And who will Jeanie Buss blame next?" The franchise's credibility, its allure as a destination, and its season were all incinerated in the span of a single Christmas game and a 20-second.
This stuff enough. We review this stuff enough. We show film on this stuff enough. You know, for me, it comes down to, this is the noisiest press conference I've ever been a part of. It comes down to just making the choice. You know, it's making the choice. There's shortcuts you can take, or you can do the hard thing, and you can make the second effort, or you can.
Really tough loss. Devin, how frustrated are you for Chris right now?
Next question, please. Will the Clippers be back here Sunday playing a Game 7?
Faced with an existential crisis, the Lakers' response was a desperate two-tiered strategy: public gaslighting and private triage. Publicly, the gaslighting campaign. Within 24 hours, a coordinated message flooded supportive media channels. The official line, pushed by team sources, LeBron as a disrespected elder statesman. It was a classic attempt to muddy the waters, to replace a clear, damning recording with a cloud of alternative explanations. Privately, the triage meetings. Behind closed doors, emergency summits were held. According to sources, Jeanie Buss was forced into a series of direct, uncomfortable conversations with LeBron James and his agent, Rich Paul. The goal was not reconciliation, that ship had sailed with the leaked audio, but damage limitation. The discussions reportedly centered on crafting a temporary, professional truce to get through the season without further nuclear leaks or a total locker room mutiny. Terms like mutual respect and professional conduct were emphasized, but the underlying trust was obliterated. They were no longer partners building a future. They were corporate adversaries negotiating a severance package in slow motion with 40 more games left on the contract. This disconnect between the public fiction and private reality created a surreal, fractured atmosphere. Everyone in the organization was now acting in a play where the script said unity, but all the actors had read the real review. The show was a disaster, the lead had been denounced by the producer, and the audience was watching it all fall apart in real time. Christmas Day 2025 will be remembered not for a game, but for a symbolic execution. 2 acts, one on the court and one off it, converged to deliver a final, unequivocal verdict on the LeBron James era in Los Angeles. Luka Dončić's mockery was the basketball eulogy. It was the visual proof that the man was over. Jeanie Buss's leaked tirade was the corporate obituary. It exposed the rotting foundation beneath the glamorous facade. The fairy tale of a superstar and a storied franchise joining forces for a storybook restoration was revealed to be a transactional and now toxic business arrangement. The owner's words confirmed the darkest fear of any superstar-led project, that when the winds stop, the blame flows directly uphill to the architect. Together, they answered the haunting question that had lingered for years. What does the end of the king's reign look like? It looks like a young prince publicly taking your crown on your own floor, and it sounds like the queen who gave you the keys to the kingdom regretting it in a moment of furious, leaked honesty. The legacy of LeBron's Lakers is now complete. It is a complex, contradictory 7-year saga with a miraculous bubble championship at its peak and a Christmas Day collapse of reputation, of relationships, of aura at its close. The final chapter wasn't written with a retirement letter or a statue unveiling. It was written with a mocking gesture and a hot mic, proving that in the end, empires don't always fade away. Sometimes they are publicly, brutally, and unforgettably dismantled.